Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s named horror and sci-fi show where things could get totally radical. Now today, I will be welcoming a very gorgeous lady who starred in 1970 cult classic Beyond the Valley of the Dolls, my second guest in the last few weeks, thanks to Marcia McBroom, my first guest. I will be interviewing Dolly Read Martin. Dolly Read Martin is one of the most gorgeous women that ever lived. She had been in Playboy. She was in the Hammer horror movie, The Kiss of the Vampire, a movie called That Tender Touch, Beyond the Valley of the Dolls. And she was married to the legendary comedian Dick Martin of Rowan Martin. I'm having her on the show today to talk about all that stuff, and I am looking forward to it. It's going to be awesome. There's nothing more to say beyond that. It's just going to be an awesome interview, and you are all going to be entertained. So yeah, here is my interview with Dolly Read Martin. Hey Dolly, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm fine, Tommy. How are you?
I am just spectacular. This is such a great honor.
Spectacular.
Yeah. This is such a great honor. Thank you for taking the time today, and I'm glad Marcia could connect us.
My pleasure. She's great, isn't she?
Oh, yes. She is.
She said she didn't tell you one thing. She said that she said to tell you that the group,
the New York Dolls,
yeah, that are in the Hall of Fame, she said that our poster is there, too. Beyond the Valley of the Dolls poster's there.
Yeah, she told me to actually tell that to you.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. She's wonderful.
Yes, she is.
We've been friends all this time.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, and her and her husband come and stay with me when they come and visit. Mm-hmm. So as soon as this pandemic's over, I hope that'll all be resumed.
Oh, I hope so too. So, going back in time, did you gravitate toward acting and modeling early on in your childhood?
Oh, yeah. I was born in England, in Bristol, England, and I went, after school every day, I went to acting school, mm-hmm. and it was great. I just loved it, and it's something I always wanted to do. So when I was 17, I left home and went to London, mm-hmm. and studied acting there, and did some TV shows and did a couple of movies, and that was it. And then, I won't jump ahead of myself, but that's when I was in London. That's when I met Victor Lowndes of the Playboy mm-hmm. empire, and they were doing they were getting bunnies to go to America for 6 months mm-hmm. To train to be bunnies and open the London Club, which was the first gambling place club of Playboys at that time. So mm-hmm. It was it's a great experience.
Wow, I bet.
I did starve a lot. I had a lot of baked beans because I was a waitress trying to be an actress, and then I would have a part. It's the same old.
Mm-hmm. I bet you were the prettiest girl in your class.
Thank you, but no, I wasn't. I wasn't at all. And I got two. I have one of my brothers died, but I've got two brothers, and they used to say how fat and ugly I was all the time.
Oh, that's not
but
good.
I left home at 17, so I was like a butterfly. Came out of my cocoon.
Yeah, that's not good that they used to call you that.
No, but that's what brothers did.
Yeah.
Rotten bastards.
Yeah. So, according to IMDb, you were an uncredited disciple in the Hammer horror film The Kiss of the Vampire.
Yes. Oh, my goodness. Dick got me a copy of that, and it wasn't bad. It's quite a nice movie, but I didn't recognize myself, and I was this vampire with the Princess Leia hairstyle with big hair on the sides, and then I recognized my voice. I said, "Oh my God, that's me!" And I had to go back and see what I looked like. It was when I was 17. I did that.
Yeah. What do you remember about being on that movie set?
Oh, it was weird because all the bats, we got eaten by bats, and the bats were these really tacky things on wires. And we had to pretend that we were being eaten by these things. It was a low budget, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And also, it was a long time ago. I mean, it was in the 60s, and so they didn't have the high tech they do now. But it was a fun movie. I mean, it really was a fun movie.
I've interviewed.
And then I did a lot of TV stuff, little bits here and there. But then the break came when I went for the interview for be a playmate, not a playmate, a bunny.
Yeah. Yeah, you were in the May 1966 Playmate of the Month issue.
Yes, I was. But when I went to the interview with my girlfriend Valerie, who lived in London, we both went together, and Victor Lamb said, "Well, you're my kind of bunny, but you're not Hugh Hefner's kind of bunny." Because I was loftic, big boobs, small waist, big ass. And well, not really, now I look back at the picture. But anyway, he said, so I said, "Oh, okay, that's okay." So I was turned down for it. And then I was staying the weekend at my girlfriend Valerie's house. Her parents lived in London, and they were wonderful. They were Cockneys, and they were wonderful. And her mom and dad made the best roast beef and Yorkshire pudding dinner you've ever imagined in your life. So I used to try and get over there on a weekend because I knew I was going to get a lovely meal, better than the beans I was used to, So I'm over there, and the phone rings, and it's Victor Lowndes. He was the vice president of Playboy. And he said, "I've got to go to this dinner tonight with the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Prince Fahid." And he said, "At the Dorchester, it's in my honor, and I need a date." And he said, are you going anywhere? And I said, "No, I'm not going anywhere." I said, and Valerie he wanted Valerie in the beginning, but Valerie was going on a date. So I said, "No, I don't have a date." So he said, "Okay, I'll pick you up such and such a time." And we went to the Dorchester, and it was a huge room and a huge table, a round table in this ballroom. Yeah. And behind every chair was a manservant, and it was an amazing thing. They put in a rack of lamb on a stretcher and showed it to everybody before they cooked it. And it was amazing. And so Victor was going on about America and stuff. And I was sitting between him and the Crown Prince. And I said to the Crown Prince, "I know what Saudi Arabia is like. I've seen all the movies where you go on your camels and you're cutting off people's heads." And he said, no, it's not like that. And so Victor was going on about, he said, "You probably believe in cowboys and Indians too, don't you?" And I said, "Well, yes, I do." I said, "That's what all I saw on English television was cowboys and Indians and gangsters. So I thought that America was gangsters and cowboys and Indians. So he said, would you like to see the real America? Mm-hmm. And I said, yeah, I'm dying to go to America. And he said, well, I'm going to America on Monday. I'm going to be staying at Hugh Hefner's mansion. Mm-hmm. He said, would you like to go to Chicago? And I said, oh, yeah, I'll go. And he said, okay, be at my house at 9 o'clock on Monday morning. Mm-hmm. And so I went home and I called my mother and I said, Mom, I'm going to America. And she was used to my craziness. And so at 9 o'clock Monday morning, I turn up at Victor Lowndes' townhouse and his office there. Mm-hmm. And I walk in and he had about 6 secretaries and people were running around and doing things, and he was sitting in his bed with a big hairy chest, and I said, oh my God, you look like an ape. He said later, he was enamored with me because I just said things when it came out of my mouth. That's what I said. So I'm sitting there, and he's giving orders to everybody, do this and send this. And by the way, call the American Embassy and tell them I'm bringing my fiance to America to meet my son. Mm-hmm. Just like that. And wow. I thought, there's no way this is going to happen. There's no way. Sure enough, we were on the plane. We by noon, we were on this airplane going to America, and that's how I came to America.
Wow.
And then we stayed at the mansion. Mm-hmm. It was an amazing time. Amazing. And then I came, Hefner said, I don't know what you're talking about. She makes the ideal bunny. And so I was one of 6 girls chosen to be a bunny to come to America for 6 months. It's a very hard job. I got to tell you, you start off with the door bunny saying good evening, then you go to the gift shop bunny selling little things, and then you go to there was a great job, which was the photo bunny, which got enormous tips. Mm-hmm. And you went to the VIP room, and then eventually you went to the showroom, which was hectic. And you're 8 hours in these 3.5-inch heels. Mm-hmm. And it's such a lot of work. I got to tell you, a lot of work. And then, of course, we would get home at 4 in the morning from working at the club. Then we'd get home at 4 in the morning, and we'd have to get up at noon because we had all these publicity shots and everything for the London club. And we had television shows to do and radio shows, and it was very hectic. But we did it.
I interviewed Catherine Lee Scott. She was a bunny in New York.
Oh, yes, I know her. She's a nice girl. I did her book.
Nice girl. Yeah, I told her a joke that offended her, though.
What? What'd you say?
I said to her, you know the difference between a golf ball and a G-spot? It takes a man 20 minutes to find the golf ball.
That offended her?
Yeah.
How can that offend her? She's got no sense of humor? Well, she obviously wasn't married to Dick Martin. Because
yeah.
Oh, gosh. That's funny. Why would she be offended at that?
That's a
great joke.
Yeah, I have no idea. She said a lot of things. She said a lot of things in that interview that didn't add up, but we don't need to get into that.
No.
But I have to ask this though, because I ask everybody who was associated with Playboy this. Were you lucky enough to spend the night with Mr. Hefner?
No, God, no. because I think we were very good friends, and because when I went over to Chicago, he was in a long-term relationship with a really, really nice girl, and they eventually broke up, of course, but she was really nice. So we got to, and I was with Victor Lowndes. Mm-hmm. So it was a whole different start of the relationship. You know, it was more, we were friends, and we stayed friends. In fact, Dick did a show at the, he was the host for one of Hef's shows at the Playboy Mansion, and he happened to say to Hef how much he liked the Leroy Neiman paintings, you know, and how much he liked Leroy Neiman, and on our wedding day, I don't know how Hef got it, but he sent us a few months later. He sent us a portrait about 10. It's got to be 10 feet high, of Dick and me on our wedding day, painted by Leroy Neiman. Mm-hmm. It's a fantastic picture, and it's lovely. It's sitting in my hallway, even as I speak now.
Yeah.
It's worth about $40,000. Not that anyone would want a picture of Dick and me in our living room. Yeah. So we stayed friends. We laughed a lot, and he was a lovely guy. And I went out once with him just for dinner to this Italian place on Sunset Boulevard, and he had milk. He didn't drink any. Never drank, so he had milk. And to be totally honest with you, it was rather a boring evening.
Yeah. I can imagine it was boring. Well, yeah. Wow, that was a magical time. It was free spirited, free love. I wish that would come back. You know,
that was a wonderful time.
Yeah, I mean, in my 20s, I was a bouncer in a British pub, and I got to.
Were you?
Not in England, but in California. But it was like the Studio 54 of California, and I got to experience a little bit of that. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, sure.
You know.
Yeah. So were you around during the factory days?
This was 2007, 2009.
Then the factory was in the 70s now.
Yeah, I never got to go.
Oh, that's wonderful, though.
Yeah, I never got to go to Studio 54.
Dick was a bartender many times when he was trying to be an actor, and then he would go for 6 months being a bartender, and then he would go back to being, trying to get on the road, and to be a comic. Mm-hmm. And so he was in a lot of... he was a bartender, and he had some great stories with being a bartender at the Slatsy Maxis, at Coach and Horses, and
wow.
A lot of places, in Hollywood.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah.
And then you did the movie, I never seen it, called That Tender Touch.
Oh, don't bother seeing it.
It's that bad?
Well, I actually... Dick got me the tape on that one yet, and I haven't watched it. I just don't. I don't know. I think it stinks, but I don't know. I should look at it again, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, just out of curiosity.
Things that stink.
Yeah. Now comes the immortal classic celebrating its 50th anniversary, Beyond the Valley of the Dolls.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes.
Boy.
How did you get cast as Kelly?
Well, it was a funny thing because I was really, really broke. I mean, really broke. And I had this brown Dodge Dart. And it had Go Bruins on the back. And I was so naive, I didn't know what Bruins were. And it was a push-button, one of those old push-button cars. And I was chugging along, and I was going up Pico Boulevard towards 20th Century Fox. And at the top, it's this big hill, and I get up to the top of the hill, and there's this huge sign. And it said Hello, Dolly. And it was Barbara Streisand's Hello, Dolly.
Right.
And a huge sign, Hello, Dolly. And I knew that I was going to get the part. It was like, it was a manna from heaven. It was wonderful. But I had about 4 interviews and then we did a screen test for it. And then I went for the part of Cynthia's part. And I didn't, Casey, but I didn't get it. I got the lead instead, so that was good.
Yeah.
I don't know how I would have been in her part. I think it was cast right.
Yeah. It's funny, I told Marcia this. Years ago I read Roger Ebert's review on the movie in which he gave the movie 0 stars. And I don't know if he did that because that's how he actually felt about it, or he was just being self-deprecating for the fact that he wrote it.
Oh, yeah, because Roger was absolutely the biggest fan in the world. I mean, he and about, let's see, it had to be about 6 years ago or something like this. I can't remember how long, but his wife gave a big party at the what's the place called? I'm trying to think. The Saban Theater on Wilshire Boulevard.
Yeah.
And it was an amazing evening. It was jam-packed. I didn't think anyone would be there, but it was jam-packed. And she said Roger just loved the movie, and he was an amazing man. And he hated that his partner didn't care for it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It just boggles my mind though that he would write a movie, especially a movie like this,
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. It's craziness. But you have such a lovely singing voice, I have to say.
Oh, thank you, but I can't sing.
Really?
No, I'm afraid that wasn't me.
Oh, I can't believe I didn't know that.
Good lip syncer, though.
Wow, you really fooled me.
Oh, I hope you don't go off the movie because of that.
Oh, no, of course not. I'm just saying, wow, I mean, it really did sound like it was your voice.
Thank you. Thank you. That's a lovely compliment.
Of course. Do you know who the singer was, though?
Yes, Lynn Carey.
Lynn Carey.
Yeah, she was fantastic. And, of course, then the Strawberry Alarm Clock.
Yep.
And were in it, too.
Yep. They were great. I mean,
Yeah. And Stu Phillips wrote the music. I mean, wrote the lyrics and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Remember Stu Phillips?
Yep, I remember Stu Phillips.
Yeah.
I read that there was a scene that was cut where Casey gets into a casting couch situation after she decided to become an actress.
Ah.
Did you ever hear about that?
No, I didn't. I knew that, one scene that I was in got cut where they had me be an old woman, a really, really old woman in a coffin, and doing a rap number. But that didn't make it.
A rap number?
Yeah, a rap. Leave this old woman in a coffin with. That's very weird. But that didn't make it into it. Thank God. Because I'm 75 now.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm 75. Oh my God, it's terrible. Terrible. But I'm still getting lots of letters, which is amazing. I mean, people are, once they're fans, they're really fans for life. They're wonderful, loyal people.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so many cult movies out there that I thought I was the only one who liked them, you know, and ever since I've gotten into the podcast world and the convention scene and what have you, I just like, what, really? I thought I was the only one who liked these, you know?
No, boy. And, you know, you have an impact on people that you don't realize that you have. And I got a letter from a wonderful, wonderful guy. Mm-hmm. And probably there's not enough time to do it, but he said that he was in the U.S. Army in Cambodia, and they were on a night vision, and he always carried my playmate picture on his head under his helmet, and there was a big wind, and they were and his helmet flew off, and his squad knew that I was his good luck charm. And so they were looking for my picture everywhere. Yeah. Apparently it made him late getting back to his camp. And the commanding officer said, "Where were you? Why are you late?" And he told him, and he said, "Well, I guess Dolly Martin's your guardian angel. And because while you were gone, rockets from a rocket-propelled grenade hit the camp." And the only destruction was their hut that they lived in, and if they had gotten back earlier, they would have all been killed. And because their hut was that was the only thing that was blown up, and that people would have been in. And so that is to me an amazing thing that. Yeah. He thanked me for saving his life, which is not obviously not true, but the fact that it was so sweet that he said he carried on every mission he was on in Vietnam. That means a lot to me.
That is sweet, I have to say, very sweet.
Yes. Very, very sweet. And every letter I get, though, is so endearing, and so it's not like, well, you were in this skin flick movie and you were a playmate, and so you're a sleazebag. It's none of that, you know. It's just respectful and lovely people. I enjoy, like hell, getting mail.
Yeah. And wasn't there a story where you didn't want to wear Sharon Tate's outfit from the original?
No, of course I wanted to wear it. No. She wore this dress in the original Valley of the Dolls, and then I wore it in the party scene in Beyond the Valley of the Dolls, and I was thrilled because it fit me. Mm-hmm. It wasn't that I didn't want to be have it on. No, I was thrilled because, my God, Sharon Tate wore this. This is wonderful.
Yeah.
It's great when something fits you, you know.
Oh yeah.
You wouldn't know this. You're not a female, but it's wonderful when something fits you that you hope fits you.
Oh, I have
weird, but that's what it is.
I have plenty of clothes that don't fit me, and I'm trying to lose weight.
Story of my life.
Yeah. Do you remember the audience reaction in the theaters when the movie came out?
Amazing. I've been to different retrospects and different things. People dancing in the aisles, they're laughing. It's so great. Well, Russ and Roger were very upset because at 20th Century Fox because they didn't put any publicity behind us at all, and they kind of buried it. Mm-hmm. And nothing. They just. Boy, Russ was mad. They didn't help. They didn't do a premiere thing. I was in New York when the movie opened here, and so they didn't try anything. And then it's the fact that just seen the movie and they love it. It holds up. It's funny. It's astonishing to me.
Yeah.
As I was broke as hell, so I was happy to get a job. It wasn't people today when they say, "Well, I took this job because it was I like the words, I like the story." Hey, I could have done anything at that point.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite line in the movie?
Up yours, Ratso. I like that one.
Yeah.
When does the party start? Anytime you get here, I love that. And has anyone here seen Kelly? Now, every time David Gurion would say, "Has anyone here seen Kelly?" I'd say, "Do-da, do-da." So we'd have to start over. Has anyone here seen Kelly?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Very
It was fun. We did have fun.
My favorite line in the movie is the one about, "Can I suck your toes?" They're like, "You probably don't get many offers," or whatever.
Yeah. How true is that?
I love that because I'm openly a toe sucker.
Yeah. Are you calling me a toe sucker?
Yeah.
That's funny. Oh gosh, that's funny.
So after
I was lucky to be married to a comedian for 40 years. So Dick never told a joke because he couldn't remember jokes, but his attitude was just phenomenal. And I met so many comedians being married to him, and we would be every Tuesday. We would go out with Bob Newhart, Don Rickles, Tim Conway, Mike Connors, and Richard Crenna, and we would go and have a private room because it got to be pretty loud, laughing. So much laughter.
Mm-hmm.
Those days are no longer here. Isn't that awful?
Yeah, it's very awful.
Yeah.
I used to watch Laugh-In when I was a kid growing up. It was such a crazy show, and I remember him and Rowan. They were both on the Dean Martin Celebrity Roast, and one time they were on the Telly Savalas Roast, and they were doing this bit where they were playing two detectives in trench coats. And Dick says, I take a Kojak to Quincy or Nyack, and Rowan says, "No, you take a powder to Boston for chowder." It was brilliant.
Oh, God. Oh, that's funny.
It was brilliant.
Oh.
Yeah. How did you first meet Dick?
I was in a restaurant with a friend of mine from New York, just a good friend, and I passed a table on my way to the loo. I passed a table, and Jack Carter, who was dating a friend of mine, was there with another girl and Dick Martin. And I thought, is he cheating on Victoria? And so as I passed, I said, "Hi, Jack." And he said, "Oh, Dolly." And he pulled me over. And you know when in comics where they have the light coming out of people's eyes, you know, it was when Dick and I looked at each other, there was such a boom, flash of, I don't know. And so, and he was so charming, and the girl, I don't know who the girl was with because she was giving me daggers.
Yeah.
But the next day, Jack called and said, "Dick thinks you're great. Can I give him your phone number?" And I said, "Sure." 8 weeks. The man didn't call me for 8 weeks. I said to Jack, "Forget it." He said, "Well, he's on the road. He's promoting this movie." It was a dreadful movie he was in, too, called The Maltese Bitty. God, it was a dreadful movie. Even worse than That Tender Touch.
Yeah.
And so 8 weeks later, I said, "Well, I'm not interested. So tell him not to bother." He calls me 8 weeks later and he says, "Dolly?" And I said, "Yes." He said, "This is Dick Martin and I think I love you." And I started laughing because he made me laugh. And that was it.
Wow. His was love at first sight?
Yes, it really was. And he knew I loved Jack Jones' voice. I should say the voice, not Jack Jones, but his voice. And so the first date, he took me to a recording studio for Jack Jones, who was with Jill St. John at the time. And I loved her. From that moment on, I've loved her. But Jack Jones was probably the most boring man I've ever met in my life. But his voice, put me through many breakups and love things. Just so Dick knew what he was doing.
That's awesome. Yeah. He directed a lot of TV in the later years. I mean,
yeah, he did. He did over 100 Newhart shows.
Bob Newhart shows, Mama's Family, Brothers. I've talked to Brandon Maggart about that show. Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
In fact, I became a citizen in 1977, and I went through this the school, the Beverly Hills Night School, learning to be a good citizen and whatever. And so I learned the first 13 states by rote. About 8 months later, Dick's doing the Newhart show, and he's the director, and he's talking to the audience, and I'm in the audience, and he says, "My wife became an American citizen today." And the audience, yay, wonderful. There's about 100 people in the audience. And he said, "Come on up here." So I went up with him, and he gave me roses and champagne. And then he said, "My wife," he said, "knows the first 13 states. Now, let me tell you, you only cram what you want to cram, and then you forget it, right?"
Yeah.
So I had known the first 13 states by rote, but this is like 8-9 months later. I've completely forgotten it. So I look at him, "Please don't ask me." And he said, "Tell them, Dolly. You go tell them the first 13 states." God, I wanted to kill him. But I got 12 right. But it was funny.
Also, too, Dick was in Denzel Washington's first movie.
Yeah, Carbon
Copy.
Was it?
Yeah, Carbon Copy. I love that movie.
Yeah, what a great movie that was.
So funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was in the Glass Bottom Boat, too.
Yeah. God.
Doris Day.
Yeah, he did a lot of good stuff,
Yeah.
When he passed, was it expected?
No, well, actually, I know it's a terrible thing, but I never, ever thought he was going to die. Because even though he was 86, and there were 22 years between us, but I never saw him as old, ever, ever, ever. He'd answer the phone, "Hello, hello, hello," and the doctor I'd take him to the doctor always, because I couldn't trust him to go on his own, because the doctor would say, "Hi, Dick, how are you?" "Oh, I'm great." "No, he's not." See, when he was 15, he was given a scratch test in school, and they found he had tuberculosis. So in those days, they put you in a sanitarium for 2 years. And so the first 6 months of him being in a sanitarium, he was not allowed out of bed at all, under any circumstances, not even to go to the bathroom.
Oh.
And then another 6 months, he was allowed out, like an hour, Anyway, he was 2 years in a sanitarium with no TV, because in those days they didn't have TV. And so he read everything there was. I swear, if toilet paper had words on it, he'd be reading that. So he became very knowledgeable, and he listened to the radio the whole time. All those Jack Benny shows and all those great radio shows in those days, and knew that's what he wanted. And then one night he decided he wanted to have a Kentucky Fried Chicken, so he put his overcoat on the top over his pajamas, and he went to the Kentucky Fried place, which was just a few doors down, and he turns around, and there's his doctor there.
Oh, boy.
And the next day they kick him out. They said, I think you're ready to go home now. But then he reconstituted it again in 1980 in his pleural wall, not in his lung, on the outside of his lung. And it collapsed his lung. Oh. And so for the last 5 years of his life, he was on oxygen. But it never, ever... his mind was absolutely much better than mine. I mean, I'm going, He was spectacular. I never, ever saw him as old.
Wow.
And it's been 12 years now, and I'm still missing him like crazy.
Oh, yeah. What was Dan Rowan like?
Oh, he was great. You know, Dan Rowan was in an airplane. He was a pilot, and he got shot down 3 times. And one of the times he got shot down was a little island. I can't remember now, but it was near anyway, it was Japanese owned. And he got shot down on this little island, and he was badly injured, and he was wearing a St. Christopher chain, and the cannibals on the island were cannibals. All the natives were cannibals, and they carried him to their camp. But what saved him was the St. Christopher, because they said, "Oh my, he's a holy man. He's a holy man." So their magic doctor there set his arm, put him back together, and when he eventually was rescued, back in the States, they said, "Whoever set your arm," and they did a magnificent job. Wild, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Wow, that's good to know that they were one of the few comedy teams where they were both nice guys, and it wasn't like, you know, one guy was the nice guy and one guy was the asshole. That's good.
Yes, exactly. We know those, don't we?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
After them...
Yeah, they were lovely. And I'm still very, very good friends with Tom Rowan and Marla Rowan, his wife. They live not 10 minutes away from me, and I'm going there Sunday, actually, on Father's Day, to their house. They make sure that they know me, and I'm family to them.
Oh, that's so wonderful. You're blessed.
Yeah, it is.
So after you did Beyond the Valley of the Dolls, did you decide that you weren't going to do movies anymore? Or
well, Dick said, you know, when we got married, I did Charlie's Angels. I did a couple of Charlie's Angels, and I did
Vegas,
Fantasy Islands in Vegas, and
Aaron Spelling shows.
We did a lot of game shows together.
Match Game,
which were such fun.
Yeah.
But he didn't want to be married to an actress because he said that's death right there. So, and I loved him. And what am I going to do? So.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. That's why I couldn't. I was in New York with him when Beyond the Valley of the Dolls premiered here. And I didn't go.
Wow.
Yeah. So he just wanted to be number one. You know, he didn't want. I can't see you today. I have an audition. He didn't want that. And obviously, it didn't mean that much to me, so because I was besotted with him.
Yeah. Well, you got the ultimate movie role with Beyond the Valley of the Dolls. You know.
Yes. Well, I got that. Yeah, that was very lucky that I got that. See, I truly believe that most of success in life is luck. Is being in the right place at the right time.
I believe in it too. Yeah, some people don't, and I don't understand that when people don't believe in it.
Oh boy, it's one time. Peggy Lee had a remember Peggy Lee?
Yes.
She she had a cocktail party from 6 o'clock to 7:30. Mm-hmm. And so Dick said, come on, we're going to Peggy Lee's house. And we got there, and it was jammed. We got there about 6. And Cary Grant came up to Dick and said, hi, Dick, Cary Grant. And I about died because I was born in Bristol, England, where Cary Grant was born. So Dick said, oh, this is my wife, Dolly. And I said, and he said, oh, very nice to meet you. I said, I'm from Bristol. And he said, you're from Bristol? For half an hour, we talked about Bristol and how it used to be a seaport and an airport in England, and it was bombed really badly in the war. And he was talking about the pirates that used to be there. And we were having a wonderful time. And James Bacon, the columnist, was with him. And he said, well, are your parents still in England? I said, yes, and your mom is too, isn't she? And he said, yes, she's in Henleaze. And I said, yeah, I know that. So he said, I'm going to see her in a few weeks. He said, give me your mother's phone number. And he said, and I'll call her. I said, you're going to call my mother? And he said, yes. And I said, oh, my God. So we gave him all the information. And I said to Dick, it was now 6:30, and I said, Dick, okay, we're going now. And he said, no. He said, we just got here. I said, no. Seeing Cary Grant, are you kidding me? And we were going to dinner with Bob Newhart and his wife, Ginny. Mm-hmm. And so we go to their house, and I said to her, Ginny, can I use your phone? Because I'd like to call long distance my mother in England. She said, oh, sure, go ahead. And I said, but it's long distance. She said, it's okay. I called my mother, and I said, Mom, if Cary Grant calls you, it is Cary Grant. Don't hang up. I think it's a joke. But then his mom died 2 weeks later. And so he never did call my mom, but we were his guest at Hollywood Park a few times. Just a wonderful, wonderful man.
Uh-huh. Wow.
It's just a little story there.
Yeah. So what do you do when quarantine isn't going on?
Well, I happen to love being on my own. Mm-hmm. I've got a pretty little house that I live on, and I've just gone through 7 months of redoing it, and raising the ceiling and going out further and all of this. And I live right on the island in Westlake Village, and it's heaven. It's just heaven, and I love it when my friends can come. In fact, my niece was coming from England, and my nephew was coming from Georgia, and all had to be canceled because of this. But we're all being very careful, and that's all that you have to do.
Yeah.
Let's not be stupid and be in someone else's face.
I never thought that anything like this would ever happen in my lifetime. It's just been so scary, you know.
It's awful, just awful. Yeah.
I have a friend who's Jewish. Her mother is a Holocaust survivor, and she's got a lot of post-traumatic stress disorder from this.
Of course she does. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
It's really insane, I have to say. I found out on Facebook, you know many dear friends of mine, including Lori Jacobson.
Who's Lori Jacobson?
She manages a lot of the old, like 50s, 60s TV stars, mostly the child actors.
Really?
Yeah. You two were connected on Facebook.
Right. That's great.
Yeah, she's gotten me a lot of her clients and stuff, and she told my mother last year, we saw her at a convention, and she told my mother last year, I believe in your son so much, and it was just one of the most touching things.
Wow, you stick with her like glue.
Absolutely.
Because anyone that believes in you, you've got to go with them. Boy, that's wonderful.
Yeah, it's...
Are you an actor?
A little bit, yeah. Last year, I actually got offered a movie role, and I was hoping by now, they would get financing for it, but I gotta wait until all this plays out and
that's
stuff.
Awful.
Yeah, I was pretty excited and everything.
Of course you were.
Right,
it's like a roller coaster, isn't it? That's what this business is like. It's just the highs and the lows, and the disappointments, and maybe tomorrows.
It is, and I did stand-up comedy in the Bay Area for 10 years.
Did you? What was that?
It was okay. I had a great time going on stage. I just didn't like dealing with the other comedians backstage.
That's such great school. That's just great ad-libbing and when Dick and Dan were at their nightclub, we were in Vegas. People would come in and not realize just how hysterically funny they were. And in those days, of course, nothing was filmed. Mm-hmm. We didn't have video and all that stuff. But their timing was amazing. And when Bob Newhart was in town, Ginny Newhart, his wife, would come in to the first 10 minutes of the show because it was all totally ad-lib and it was hysterical. Mm-hmm. And we were there like for a month at a time. Vegas for a month is very difficult.
Yeah.
Especially when there's no clocks anywhere.
Yeah.
They do that on purpose. They don't put a clock in the place so you don't know what time it is anywhere.
Well, you got to ask Big Ben. Did Marcia tell you about my secret silly game?
No, what was that?
Okay, so I play this with a lot of guests. This is a series of slumber party questions. And
okay.
How this works is I ask you the question, you answer it, and then you ask me the exact same question and I answer it.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Okay. Dolly, are you ticklish?
Yes. Are you ticklish, Tommy?
I am baby ticklish, yes. Is your belly button an innie or an outie?
An innie. Is your belly button an innie?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, the only way to go.
Yeah. Although I do like outies too on certain women.
Oh yeah. Oh boy. You guys are crazy.
like Raquel Welch. I thought she had a nice outie.
Oh, did she? She's got a nice outie.
Yeah.
Well, look at her. She's gorgeous.
Oh yeah, she is. What color are your toenails painted?
I don't paint my toenails. What color are your toenails painted?
They're not painted right now, but last time they were. They were purple with sparkles.
Well, every time that I have my pedicure done, I'm always running off to somewhere else right after, and I can never dry them fast enough, so I don't bother.
Oh. What would you say is your best personality trait?
I think my humor.
I agree.
What is your best personality trait?
My sense of empathy and the fact that I have no filter.
Both of us don't have filter, and isn't that fun?
Yes.
That's part of the humor.
Exactly. Yeah, some people don't get it, especially nowadays,
What?
Especially nowadays, people don't get it,
Oh, my gosh. Do you know that I think 10 years from now, there will be no humor?
Oh, I hope not. I hope not.
Oh, I hope not, too. Oh, I hope not. Because I tell you, the one great thing about marriage, too, is humor. If people don't have humor, the marriage is doomed.
Exactly.
And Bill Cosby said that you have to have separate bathrooms. That's the secret of a marriage, separate bathrooms.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
I agree with that.
Yeah. And then my favorite question, is there a stinky smell that just makes you gag?
Yeah, a raw meat.
Oh, yeah, that's a popular one.
Ooh, I hate that. Yeah. What makes you gag?
Either farts or feet.
Yeah, but you see, I'm not married, and I don't have a guy, so I don't hear any good farts anymore.
Yeah.
Or smell them.
I told that to a guest of mine, and she said, "That's the name of your memoir, Farts and Feet."
That's funny. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I don't think I would use that title, but I would definitely put it as a blurb on the back of the book.
That's a very good idea.
Yes. Speaking of memoirs, have you ever thought about writing one?
Yes, I've got all of Dick's notes, and I'm just a lazy bitch because I don't quite know where to start or finish or anything like that. I've got them all because Dick's hysterical. I mean, his when he was a janitor at 20th Century Fox, and he would pretend to be the banker, and no one knew, and just funny stuff. That there was one time he and Dan were in I think it was Chicago, and the hotel was like in a U shape, and they had the air conditionings in the window, and it was many years ago, and he looks over and he sees this guy jacking off, and so he figures where the guy is, because it's all the windows are open, there's no drapes, and so he figures out where this guy's room is, and he picks up the phone, he calls the room, and the guy answers, and Dick says, "This is God. Put that thing down."
Oh my God. That sounds like a movie.
Isn't that awful?
Yeah.
Oh, terrible.
Did the guy come?
Who knows? The good part's left out.
Yeah.
I think he was so scared.
You started a story. I want
the mood. Oh dear.
You started a story. I want to hear the climax.
Very good. Very good.
I'll tell you a couple quick jokes. You know why men like to marry virgins?
No.
Because they can't stand criticism.
Good. Very good.
You know what happens to your asshole when you have an orgasm?
What?
He's out drinking with the boys.
Oh, God. You got to tell me when you're going to be in town, because I'll come and see you.
Yeah, well, if I ever get back on stage again, sure, but...
Of course you will.
Yeah.
Of course you will.
This joke is kind of cheesy. Okay, everybody remembers the old nursery rhyme. There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many kids, she didn't know what to do. What did her right leg say to her left leg?
I don't know.
Nothing. They never met.
That's very good.
Yeah.
That's excellent. I love that.
Thanks. It's cheesy, but it works.
Very, very good.
Yes. I'm so glad that Marcia could connect us.
I'm so happy. She's a terrific girl. And it's so sad that Cynthia died. I'm afraid a lot of the people in the movie, God, they died.
Yeah, it's funny. about a year and a half ago, I'd say, I reached out to Harrison Page on his website through his email. Never heard back. And then back in January, I emailed Edie Williams on her website, and whoever was in charge of it replied, I'm forwarding this to her. And then I never heard back. I tried to follow up. I never heard back. So this worked out so well.
Wow. Well, I'm amazed you didn't hear from Harrison Page.
Yeah. I don't know.
Do you want me to try and get a hold of him for you?
Sure. That would be great.
Yeah. Let me see. I should have his number, but let me see. I don't know if I do. No, but I'll try and get hold of him.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
And Lori, my assistant, has your number and everything, right?
Mm-hmm. She's got my cell number.
Good. I'll try and get hold of him for you.
That would be great. Thank you so much for coming on today, Dolly.
Oh, this is a blast. I love it. I love rehashing the best part of my life.
Yeah.
It was lovely talking to you, Tommy.
It was lovely talking to you too. I'm glad I could make you laugh. And
yeah, you sure do. You gotta keep on this. You know.
Yes.
You gotta be like a horse with blinkers on. You know what you want, you go for it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
All right.
All right. You have yourself a wonderful day.
Yes, you too, and stay safe.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye, love. Bye.
Bye-bye. Well, there you have it. Dolly Read Martin. Ain't she a sweetheart? Well, God, I am so lucky with the guests that I get. She was an amazing lady, and I got to make her laugh, and I just feel so blessed, beyond blessed. Thank you so much, Marsha McBroom, for that second connection. If you like this video, everyone, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Add me as a friend on Facebook. Join my Tommy Kovac comedian page on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram and all that fun stuff. Well, that's all the time we have this week on Splat from the Past. Till next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying, there's no shame in living in the past because the present sucks. Later, dudes.